Developers, welcome to the channel. We're going to talk about scoping and scoping JavaScript and what is the advantages and importance of scope in JavaScript. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So scope in JavaScript refers to the accessibility and or visibility of a variable when an application is running or a website is running, right? Main benefit of it is security, so that only certain variables can be accessed, and avoid unintended modifications to it, basically, right? And second is it reduces the namespace collisions. That is, we can use the same variable name. All right, so we have this piece of code here, app.js countdown timer. It's just a simple timer website, so countdown clock, right? Okay, so we have a variable being defined here at the top of first line. Secondly, we are passing the variable into a method called initialize clock, and then there's different methods doing different things here. Don't worry about all of this. And there is another thing, I'm just doing a console.log of the variable global variable that we've declared here. So we won't go into much detail about interpreting how JavaScript compiles or interprets codes. What we'll do is we'll discuss about scoping, because we get these questions a lot in interviews. So global scope means that whenever we have instantiated or started an application and an application is running, right, and we have defined a variable in the global scope, that means it will get accessible throughout the application that is being run in a particular process. All right, so if we have a look here, right, just delete that and have a look again here. The first variable is called deadline, okay? And if we are here, when it's being executed, this line is being executed, the interpreter will check and see, okay, we are assigning deadline with a date time stamp, right? That's what we're doing here. Is deadline variable exist? Does it exist elsewhere in the system, in the global scope? So there is a scope manager that will be doing that will be checking if there is a deadline variable somewhere in the system. If not, then we're just assigning it, creating a new variable and assigning the value to it, and that's basically it. And this variable here, deadline, will be accessible throughout the system. That is, I can come here within this method of initialize clock. For example, if we go to initialize clock and I want to access that deadline variable, right? And this is a global scope, like I mentioned. So what I'm expecting here, if the code is coming here, execution is coming here, it should print in my console the deadline time, right? So if we go, let's have a look what has happened in the console log. Okay, so the website is running. We look at the console log, we can see this is the timestamp, right? This is where, go back to the code here and then put the website here. When it initialized, it actually logged the time, deadline time, and you can tell that this variable was initialized or was created outside of this function, and you were able to access it within the function, which means that it's a global variable or global scope variable. And now let's have a look at this local scope variable. It keeps logging. You can tell it keeps logging of the seconds, right? The get time remaining method keeps looping, and we are logging the local scope. So what if we take this out of the method and put it out? And we want to basically log both of them outside of the function, what will happen? Let's refresh and let's see. There you go. It crashes because it gives you a reference error because the global scope is available, which is correct, and it's outputting in the console, but the local scope failed, which means that a local scope variable is only available or visible within a function, and that's basically it between a global and a local scope. Cool. Now let's move to what is a block scope. Cool. Alright, so let's move to what is a block scope. Okay, so ES6 introduced let and const in variables, which is unlike var variables, they can be scoped to the nearest pair of curly braces. So if we look at if we look at let, for example, right? So if we had this curly braces, and instead of having var here, I'll put as let. Okay. And do refresh. Clock is now defined because it is within the set of these curly braces blocked, right? But if I change this to var, I would still be able to access clock, and that's the difference between let and block scope compared to a local scope. Okay. Now, if we want to look at this one here, we can also consider it as a nested scope, because this variable is being accessed. Clock variable is being accessed here, and also is being moved. Not really. So just call it nested scope for now. Okay, cool. Thank you. If we look at nested scope, it's pretty much the same thing here. We are passing end time variable within the function, and within a function we have another function called update clock, and we are passing end time here, right? So it's basically a recursive function that's happening. But anyway, this thing here is called nested scope. Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you would want to learn more about software development, please subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to put a like and comments down there if you want to learn about any new topics. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.